Oh, lucky Eric. He escapes the casual Friday music. He gets a little funk going.
I'm feeling great. Holy smokes. It's not casual Friday. It's the greatest Friday of all time.
I'm glad that you're feeling it. What's up, everybody? Welcome into a very casual Friday edition of the DNVR show, the DNVR Nuggets podcast, presented as always by DraftKings Sportsbook. Up there in the top left corner, you can see it. Use promo code DNVR when you sign up. Make all kinds of bets. Football season is here. You know you're going to win some money or have fun losing money. One of the two. It's only your two options. It's a great time. Look at the squad I got, guys. We have a four-man set for the first time in like 3 weeks. Seated here to my left, the man with the win behind his hat. It's Harrison Wynn.
Yeah, sorry if I was quiet on the intro. Just trying to absorb Lauri Markkanen to Cleveland.
That's
trying to absorb that in. Take that in.
I was looking at Cleveland's roster last night. They have Kevin Love, who has 13 years in the league, not really on the team, but on the team. And then everybody else is so young. Everybody else on that roster is like 22 or younger. It's wild.
And a big. They're all bigs. Have you noticed that?
I did not notice it. Hawaiian shirt time, backwards hat, coffee cup. We got Brendan Boat.
Smokes.
Yeah, made it just in time for the show. Some real D-line dev timing for me today.
Well, we started 3 minutes late, so I'm not sure. There's a reason for that. Also down below me, I got the man you guys know as D-line coach, D-line.
Dude, what a bunch of garbage. I catch strays because Brendan can't get out of bed. My timing? That's your timing, you bitch.
10 o'clock, crack at 10 a.m. is probably one here. We do have some fun, guys. It's Casual Friday. Later on in today's show, somebody is going to attempt to climb the steps. We haven't done the steps for a couple weeks, but guess what? They're back. Someone is going to attempt. We have a person already lined up.
We do. Lined up, ready to go.
Who is it?
Discord legend Got Zach. They'll be joining us.
Discord legend got that. Can't wait. So we're going to have somebody attempt to climb the steps. We're going to do some fun stuff where we power rank our favorite Nuggets, least favorite teams, so on and so forth. We're going to talk about the perfect NBA studio show. There's a reason for that. And we're going to talk about what we're talking ourselves into. I was sitting last night after talking to Kenneth Faried and doing that show. I was sitting here thinking about all the different things I was pessimistic about like 2 months ago. And I'm now wildly optimistic about. I don't know what to make of that. So we're going to talk about that later on. But first, guys, we have to get to the big news of the day. Today's top story. Let me see if I could successfully.
The DNVR summer line? Oh, sorry.
No, hey, that's not a hey. What we have, the real big story is Facu has a new tattoo. Do you guys see this?
I do see that.
I'm told this is Dragon Ball Z.
It is. It's like a whole ass scene, though. I mean, the detail on this is like an entire frame from the show. It's ridiculous.
Can you break this down for us? Can you interpret what we're looking at?
That's Frieza, who's like one of the first Ultimate villains.
On the left?
That's about all I got, but it's just pretty. Facu, I did not realize what a little nerdy gamer he was.
Yeah.
So I gotta say, the tattoo looks great. Like the quality of it, very good tattoo. It's interesting that he went with the thigh right away. But I will say, Dragon Ball Z. I'm with you, Vote. I'm surprised by the decision. What do we rate this?
he's got the PlayStation tattoo, right, on his tricep. The
Oh, that
buttons
is
to the
right.
controller. So I do think that Faku's probably an anime gaming kind of guy.
I can see it. What do you think, Eric? What is your take on this?
I'm
As a
going to
fellow
say,
old.
I'm going to say, based on the fact that he decided to get a scene from Dragon Ball Z indelibly placed on his body, that he's an anime guy. I'm going to confirm
Good
your
guess.
suspicions, though. He likes anime.
Yeah, seems like it.
yeah,
Is
yeah. I
Dragon
can't
Ball
believe
Z anime or cartoon?
you son of a bitch, Adam. We can't delve into these waters. We're going to get canceled. We're going to get the Faku Hive is going to come after us with your old interpretations. We don't need this.
I'm just wondering, like, is The Simpsons anime?
No, anime is Japanese. You know what? We
What?
gotta move. Just go.
Is The Simpsons anime? Didn't you like work in movies and
This is the
Hollywood and all this shit?
Is a hot dog a sandwich? Is Simpsons anime? I'm just saying.
My lord.
By the way,
My
guys,
God.
looks like Denver's involved in this 4-team deal. 3-team
Oh,
deal.
shit. Are you serious?
All I know is that the Bulls are getting a Denver protected 2023 second rounder, but that could be coming from someone else. I think it is.
So, well,
Oh,
hold on.
I
So yesterday when we were asking if there are any
I
Finnish
think
players,
that might have been in
somebody
the
said
JaVale McGee.
Yes,
Lauri
that's right.
Markkanen
When
is
that's the
Finnish player.
Cavs pick to give away.
What was that, Eric?
When we were talking about whether or not there were any Finnish players in the league, somebody said that Lauri Markkanen was a Finnish player.
Yeah.
Like, can we
Oh,
get unfinished business?
That's right. So now we can officially do it. By the way, if you missed yesterday's show, that was the topic of conversation that we do. I really do think we have the phrase for the 2021-22 season. It is
Of course we
unfinished
do.
business.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
It's official. It works. I don't know if I'm down with the Busy Bones crossover of this, but whatever. I don't
Well,
care.
not
I'm
everything's
gonna
up to you, Adam. Not everything is up to you.
If Bones Highland was in the place of Jamal Murray, it could be unfinished business.
If we make it business with the Z's, does that make Bones more likely to be a part of the season? Do you feel?
No.
The important questions.
We could just try to talk it into existence and see what happens.
Yeah, let me just break down your question. Do we have influence over the Nuggets roster? I'm going to say yes. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I say, yeah.
I think we could look. Media members can. We don't try to. I mean, we don't try to wield that, but let's not pretend that like the power players around the league don't like influence teams. And
I
things like that.
did text him
Why
and say
pretend?
draft Michael Porter Jr. But
Did you? Oh, that was
I don't know-
you. You said
I don't know
that?
if that was my advice per se.
Wow, yeah. Who's to say? But going back to the Dragon Ball Z thing just for one brief second, there are two things in life you can't criticize people for. I'm serious. There's two things. Tattoos is one of them. Like people get a tattoo, that's their art, man. That's they did their
Nope.
thing.
You
And
can
then
absolutely criticize bad tattoos, but
well,
go
you
ahead.
can criticize people you don't know. Like we don't know if we can criticize. He's a public figure. But I'm saying if your buddy gets a tattoo, you're just like, hey man, I don't get Dragon Ball Z, but that's your thing. I'm not going to sit here and tell you you're the wrong version of yourself.
It's so true.
Nope,
I had
you
a
can-
buddy
you can
who got the
absolutely criticize
word,
people.
he got the word believe tattooed on his bicep in like Forever 21 font. And we just kept calling him like Tim Tebow for like a year. And
That's the right move.
you're right. It really hurt his feelings. We should have zipped
Dude,
it.
Well, that's
like,
you want to hurt their
tattoo's
feelings.
permanent. And
Yeah.
it's part of you. It's like
Yeah.
who you are.
You can't
The
talk
other
him
thing
out of
is baby names. Like when your friends, I don't know. I know you guys probably don't have too many friends just yet that have had the kids, but once they start having them and they come up with the dumbest names, and you just have to be like, it's cool, man. That's interesting.
Oh, that's nice.
Khaleesi,
Wow.
huh?
Yeah, Khaleesi. Wow, that show really, you like the last part of it, huh? Okay.
Well, hold on, Adam. When you get your tattoo of a Stellar's J or a scrub,
Can't wait.
whatever
Stellar's
dumb
J
bird
way
tat-
better.
whatever dumb bird tattoo you end up getting, if it's not done well or put in the right place, I will absolutely let you know about it. Just FYI.
No, this is why you're such a great friend. I want to move on though, guys. Yesterday or last night, I should say, I did really the second installment, but sort of the first official installment of the Keeping It 1000 Denver Nuggets Legend series. And if you missed it, I highly recommend when this show's over, go back and check it out. It featured Kenneth Fareed. So it was me, George Karl, and Kenneth Fareed looking back on really the 2011 to 2013 Nuggets. We briefly kind of hit on, it's funny, he was here for significantly longer than that, but those were the glory days. And we did talk a little bit about the Brian Shaw era, about him playing with Jokic, about Paul Millsap coming in and his comments about I'm a starter and all that. So there's some really interesting recent Nuggets things in there. But I really want that series to be a thing where we talk about where in 1 year's time, I hope to tell the entire history of the Denver Nuggets organization through interviews with players who played it. And so if you're interested in that kind of thing, I highly recommend it. But I just wanted to ask, like, I know, Eric, you were watching. I know, Wind, you were tweeting it out. And Vote, I think you were in the chat as well. Did you guys – what things kind of stood out? Because I thought Faried was surprisingly reflective and almost like jovial about, like, I thought Faried might be there and just talk shit about the Nuggets organization, this and that. He really looked back fondly on that time. And I thought that's the thing that stood out to me.
Yeah, I thought the mutual admiration between George Karl and Kenneth Faried, how healthy their relationship was, and how fondly they both appeared to look back at that era. I think in 2021, especially outside of Denver and the Keeping It 1000 podcast, sometimes you hear George Karl and you think the fallout and the players he doesn't have a great relationship with. So really interesting to see the other side of the coin. And in fact, at one point, Kenneth Faried articulated George Karl's approach as what George is trying to do with us, right? And how there was a disconnect between the powers that be, what George was trying to get done, and the way the players were responding to it. And it was really interesting to hear, like, Kenneth was buying in to what George Karl was selling. And it was cool to see the other side of that coin.
Yeah. I was taken aback by how he looked at the situation the same way I looked at the situation during that time. Like, he was just as confused as I was that they were blowing the team up. And there was like all of these, he also came off just like so genuine. And like, I don't know. I just like fell in love with Kenneth Faried. I forgot how much he just really made me a fan, and like the joy he brought to the game, and the way he talked about his approach. And, there was nothing, he wasn't like selling a narrative or anything. He was just talking like very honestly about his time in the league and just his perspective on all things. And so and then when he talked about, when it all started to fall apart and everything, like, it was sad, man. I was like really bummed out by it. I was just taken back to that time. Like, things were about how they feel right now for the Nuggets after that 57-game win season. Like, the season itself was transcendent. It was like incredible. They won every time I went to the Pepsi Center. Every single time I went, they won. And they would blow teams out, and it was amazing. And it just felt like, oh, this is why basketball is awesome. Like, that is what like really, really stoked my now undying fire for basketball, was that season. And it ended in disappointing fashion, the same way that this did. And it would be like this next year if they were like fired Malone, fired Tim Conley, like, brought in Brian Shaw, and like everyone was like, what is happening? And it just
Michael Porter defected to the Suns, and you're like,
totally.
Oh, what the hell is going on here?
Yes, crazy. So it's like really it's healthy to like look back and like remember how it is that we got here, and like why I feel the ways that I do about the Denver Nuggets, and to hear Kenneth Faried say it and articulate it in a way that was on the same level that I was at. It was cool. Like, very, very special stuff.
Yeah, my biggest takeaway was just that, Eric. He was so happy to talk about those times. He was so genuine. And like you said, Adam, I didn't know how he was going to come off, because he had some great times here and he had some really bad times. It was kind of an ugly exit. It really was at the end there. But he was genuinely really pumped to revisit like the glory days of his career. And that was really cool, because you never know how players are going to come off in those types of things. So, and especially Faried. So I thought that was really cool. My other takeaway was that the detail and how he remembered some stuff.
Right.
We always think about how LeBron remembers, LeBron goes into like a post-game presser and recaps the final like 5 possessions of a game, sequence by sequence. How Faried was going back and doing play-by-play from games in 2000, 11 and 12 and 13. It was crazy. It was crazy how he remembered those games. So I thought it was a great interview, how just genuine he was and open to talking about those days.
One thing I didn't quite remember, I mean, I wasn't really here. I didn't have the context for it. was how close Farid was to truly getting over. I mean, he was a fan favorite in Denver, but Carl was about to hand him the keys, and they just had a lot of success. And there's a real, it's in listening to him reflect on it, it sounded like from his perspective, a real sliding doors moment where his career sort of, it went in a different direction. It really did go in a different direction from there. And I guess I didn't realize how close Farid was to kind of having it all, being the face of a competitive franchise, not like a top tier star, but one of the guys on a competent team in a city that he wanted to be in. You know, it was this close to all kind of coming together for him. And you can tell how much that period of his life means to him even now.
Yeah, Kenneth Farid won he was the MVP of the Rising Stars Challenge. Like, he was on Team USA. Like, Kenneth Farid was starting to really develop, like you're saying, a really legitimate career outside of just being the hustle guy on a team that nobody liked to think about. Like,
right.
He was really I mean, and the really sad part about the way sort of ended, or the way that it turned, is that Farid was starting to really develop like a mid-range shot. Like, he was starting, his offense was evolving more so than if you go back and look, dude, I mean, really, like, because he had nothing, and he was starting, I'm just saying, like, he was developing offensively. He was diversifying more so than when he first came into the league. So it's sad that it like didn't really go where it could have with him.
Yeah. He's, to me, Farid is a kind of a quintessential George Karl player, and that he's really good at like 2 or 3 things. And in George Karl in Denver was a very sort of hands-off coach. Like, he had the principles in place, but he wanted guys to play free. He had principles, but it was like, hey, run, be fast up the court. You have your spots, play free. And of course, that's where Farid thrives. And just like, I'm just going to crash the boards. I'm going to be in the dunker spot, pick and roll, and then crash the boards. And so he just really excelled at that. And I think when Brian Shaw came in, one, it was a disaster on all fronts. I mean, it just did not work out. The roster, from the roster health and the roster, like how it fit together, all of that was a disaster. And then I think he's definitively not a Michael Malone guy. So you go from George Karl to Michael Malone, very, very different types of coaches. And he was a bit of a casualty of this. And this is why I wish we had more time to go into this with him. But Farid, so he plays great for 2 seasons. 2013-14 season's kind of a mess, whatever. But then he gets the big contract. And this is why it's interesting when you think about, even with relations, we talked about this the other day about Michael Porter and how big contracts change things. Kenneth Farid was paid like a centerpiece of the Nuggets in 2014-15, but he wasn't really the centerpiece. And that's where it got weird. It's like, hey, I'm sure he doesn't regret getting the biggest contract he possibly could have got, but in many ways it did sort of end his career, because it's like, okay, well, now we can't trade you. So now you're just going to have to be on the Nuggets while we rebuild and change coaches and do all this different stuff. And he was just sort of lingering there. And that's why last night, I mean, he made it pretty clear when they brought in Paul Millsap, his agent had brought it to the Nuggets like, hey, it's time to move on. He was still in Denver for 2 more seasons. And it was just, there's nothing Denver could do at that point because of the contract. And in some ways it may have prematurely ended his career.
Yeah. But he was still, he was still a nice piece for the Nuggets to have in kind of that transitional period.
For sure.
When they were transitioning into the Jokic era, because Farid was legit good, man. He rebounded the heck out of the ball. He ran the floor. He was athletic. He was a rim running threat, good roller in the pick and roll. He was a pretty stable piece. Like, he had his flaws for sure, but he gave the Nuggets some stability, I think, in the front court in those early Jokic years. And then he was a good fit with Jokic. I mean, not defensively.
Offensively, he was almost as good a fit as anybody that's come through. Maybe as good. I mean, Gallo when he was a stretch 4, or Michael Porter when he's a stretch 4. But as far as like true power forwards, offensively, dominant with Jokic.
Yeah, he gave some stability to that group. And he was really fun to watch, too. He was really fun to watch kind of until Millsap came in and you could see the writing on the wall.
God, I love that story about how he would like hook players into admitting that they were tired and then be like, oh, we got one. And then would just sprint past. Like,
I got one. I love that. I got one.
Got like one. It's amazing because he just doesn't get tired. It's like incredible.
He definitely does not get tired, man. It was a great interview.
I liked when he was describing the man, like the realization that Manimal applies to him, like in real time. He's like, wait a second, I've got long hair like a lion. This could work. It's like, hell yeah.
I am the Manimal.
I am the Manimal. It was a good interview. So if you missed it after this show's over, I highly recommend it. You can also catch it on the Keeping It 1000 podcast feed, which I really hope everybody, if you're watching this, do me a huge favor and hit subscribe. Get on your phone, open up that podcast app, hit subscribe, and even if you have time, leave a rating or review. I want to boost that podcast feed up as we continue to do this great series. So you want to check that out. All right, let's hit a break. On the other side, we do have some more. What's that, Eric?
I was just gonna say, like, don't wait till this is out. Like, watch that instead of this. This is going on.
Shut up, Eric. Get him off the show. Take him off the show. All right, take it away, Win. On the other side, though, we are going to talk about the Immaculate Game and what things we're talking ourselves into for the Nuggets this season.
Right now at Solace Meds, here's some of the deals they got going on throughout the month of August, so only a couple more days to get in on these. You can get Dixie Elixirs 2 for $30. You can get Spectra 20% off. You can get Ripple 25% off. Silver Shelf Flower 15% off. Connoisseur Shelf Concentrates 15% off. And if you head into any of Solace Med's locations, they've got one in Fort Collins, one in Wheat Ridge, one off of Broadway, one just blocks from the DNVR bar in East Colfax. You're going to get a free Solace bar or King Cone as well. So stop in today at any of those locations. They've only got those deals going on throughout the month of August. Of course, always when you drop the code DNVR20, you're going to get 20% off your purchase. That's valid at all locations as well. Also at Green Mountain Dental, stop in, schedule a cleaning, x-ray, and exam, get a free Sonicare toothbrush, top of the line electric toothbrush that most dentists recommend. I know mine certainly does. Green Mountain Dental Group, a lot of us here at DNVR, we go there to get teeth cleaned, cavities filled, their wisdom teeth pulled, everything. So they're located 15 minutes from downtown Denver. Check them out. Green Mountain Dental Group. Schedule a cleaning, x-ray, and exam. Get a free Sonicare toothbrush today.
All right, so here, next segment here, I'm going to have to take Kale out myself. So yesterday we were made aware of the perfect game. You want to walk us through this, Harrison? You're the one that brought this to our attention.
The Immaculate Inning. The Immaculate
Inning. The Immaculate Inning.
So Chris Sale apparently had one of these last night with the Red Sox, and it's 3 strikeouts in an inning on the minimum number of pitches.
Yeah, 9 pitches,
I think it's just on 9 pitches. Yeah. Yep. So 9 pitches in an inning, 3 strikeouts, just as perfect of an inning as you can get. And apparently it's called the Immaculate Inning, which is an amazing name.
It is amazing. So it got us thinking in the chat, what is an immaculate game? And I think there's an obvious one. It is a perfect triple-double, which has only been done like 3 or 4 times. And, of course, our beloved Jokic has one such game.
Yeah,
the only thing wrong with that one is he did miss a free throw. Remember,
I think about that once a week. I'm not kidding.
A missed free throw?
Close to the best stat line ever. The best.
Still immaculate. In my book, it's still immaculate. So it's kind of nice the Nuggets have one. Is there another interpretation, Eric, that you think of an immaculate game?
Well, I put it into the chat. Nobody responded. I'm used to this at this point, but it said I said scoring 50 points with no free throws. Jamal Murray.
Right. That's a pretty immaculate game too.
Let's just look for things that only Nuggets players.
I know.
Let's just look at all those possibilities.
Assist to turnover, right? Like I feel like if you're 10 plus assists, 0 turnovers, you're getting close to that kind of territory.
An immaculate assist game. I like that. I like an immaculate scoring game.
Also known as the full Monte. The immaculate assist
game. Oh, I love it. The full Monte.
Yeah. I feel like there should be a component to an immaculate game where you have 0 turnovers. I actually think that should be a baseline. Like that should be the starting point.
But here's the thing, like scoring, to me, it's like 30 points or more with no misses. Like that's an immaculate scoring game. I do think 10 assists with no turnovers. That's an immaculate assist game. Then the triple-double with no misses is just like super immaculate. I mean, I can't. The vibes on that one are off the chart. Another one that's interesting to me, and this is only brought to my attention because both Jokic and Murray have done this. The scoring, 20 field goals. 20 field goals in a game, which doesn't sound that crazy, but it actually is super rare because most guys that score a ton of points, they actually only make 16, 17, 18 field goals, and then they have 20 free throws. Nuggets never going to get that. but Murray and Jokic have gotten the 20 field goal game. I just love that one too.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
All right,
how many more
we solved this?
Got to the bottom of it.
We got to the bottom. I don't know if there's any other immaculate
I think it's
game
probably
you can have.
Like 50 points. I mean, it's tough, man. Like a strikeout is just so perfect. A strikeout on 3 pitches, it's just so clean and perfect, and it's like the most immaculate thing.
Do you think? I think 5 for 5 from the 3-point line or better. That could be an immaculate 3-point shooting night. Maybe you need more. Do you need like 7?
I think we should just start calling out when players have immaculate quarters next season.
You
just go perfect from the field, no turnovers. You just start racking up immaculate quarters. We should keep a count of those next season.
Jokic is gonna be top 3 in immaculate quarters for sure.
He has turnovers though.
Oh, that's true.
Man, against that Jazz game 5 that we just kind of went back and talked about, immaculate quarter in the first quarter, 8 for 8. So it is doable. Now, this is the meat of the conversation today, guys. I was sitting last night, as I mentioned, thinking about this, where like, Murray's out, Nuggets get swept, this or that. I'm in the moment, just kind of feeling down. You get removed from it. Maybe it's just sheer boredom. Actually, it's 99% what it is. I start looking at everything, and I'm like, man, Yoke might actually have a pretty awesome season, and Porter might be an all-star, and Bones, and like just start going into like every positive thing. So I'm starting to talk myself in. Like I'm at the point of the offseason where I'm starting to talk myself in.
Welcome,
Eric. Yes. You are our beacon of optimism here. So tell us, what things? Is there a single thing that you feel you've really talked yourself into in the offseason?
The thing that I've talked myself into, I talked it myself into during the Sun series, which is the Nuggets are a really good team. They were beset by factors outside of their control by losing Jamal Murray, but they had an amazing run down the stretch, even without him. And they have within their ranks, they have the exact right combination of players to be dominant in every single way if everything is working the right way. So I've absolutely talked myself into the fact that the Nuggets are going to be legit contending during the season, and then when Jamal comes back, it's like game over. So what I've talked myself into is that the Nuggets are going to win the championship and lose no games. The immaculate season is upon us.
The immaculate season. Wow. Didn't see that one coming. I'll be honest. This was actually like cold for 5 take, apparently. I was going to say it's cold because this is like, Kale, if you were like, Eric, I'm just worried I'm not a good designer. And he's like, Kale, you are such a great guy. You'd be like, wait a second. I was looking for a narrow optimism, and you gave me a broad one in a way that almost feels like you're not zeroing in on anything.
Like,
so
Kale, you try so hard.
And you really give a lot of effort. Harrison, what have you talked yourself into this offseason?
I've talked myself into that I'm going to take them to get a top 4 seed. I think they're going to be top 4 in the West. And I don't have as much optimism as Eric. I mean, it's my job on the show to take his takes and just, temper them down a little bit. But look, Nikola Jokic, I think Nikola Jokic is the best player in the league. I know we've been having we have this conversation every summer. Who's the best player? Oh, it's Kevin Durant. Oh, it's Giannis. Well, would we think it's Giannis if Kevin Durant's foot was a half inch shorter? No. So like, I think Nikola Jokic is the best player in the league. He was the MVP last season. I don't see why he can't go out and have a really similar season to what he did last year. I really don't. We do this every offseason leading into the year. We're like, well, like maybe Jokic will take a little step back. Maybe he won't look to score as much. Look, he's going to have another incredible season.
So yours is Jokic.
Alert. Yeah, Jokic is going to be, probably close to as good as he was last season, I think. I think he's going to score a ton. I think he's going to set a new career high in points. Jokic is going to be incredible, and I think Denver's going to be fine. I think Denver's going to be a top 4 seed. Now, without Jamal Murray, we know this. They don't have the playoff ceiling that they do with him. But throughout the regular season, Denver is going to be fine.
Vote?
Yeah, I've talked myself into Michael Immaculate Porter Jr. I just think he's going to look great. I mean, he looked great last year.
He does look great.
Yeah, he already has. He already does. I think he's going to look even better. I do. I don't know what, hopefully 1 or 2 more wrinkles to his game beyond what we've seen, but I just, we did about 3 episodes on him winning most improved player of the year, but I'm going to bet on him. I think he's got a great chance, and I think he's going to have a fantastic season. Agree with everything Win said. And I just want to piggyback off Eric one more time. Like, that result last year, disappointing, but you put it into context of these 2 seasons that belong together, especially when you're one of 4 teams like Denver is, which made it all the way to the conference finals in the bubble, the grueling bubble, only to go through the shortest offseason in the history of professional sports, to lose their second best player, and they still made it to the second round. Now, everyone's going to tell you, oh, they got swept there, but they're going to ignore the context where the other 3 teams that made the conference finals in the bubble, they all lost in the first round.
That's true.
So
that's a great point.
These last, like the combined results of the last 2 seasons are encouraging. It's more evidence in the folder of, yo, this team's really good.
They're totally good.
You crushed that, dude. That was an incredible. Drop that mic, man. Throw it down. That was an incredible. Eric's broad, I still feel good. Come on, Eric. What was this?
I said we're going to win the championship and lose no games.
That's very broad.
That's an immaculate season.
An immaculate season he predicted. Mine is mine was Will Barton. Actually, I have a lot. I'm gonna just keep throwing these out. But part of this was talking to Will Barton and just reflecting on that. He, talking about getting a full off season, thinking about him and how he was just so good when he was fully healthy. And I think that we're going to get a very healthy version of Barton, and a healthy version that knows he can't carry the team in the regular season. Like, he'll have games, but he's going to take nights off and he's going to do this or that. And I just think it's funny because it's so simple, and it's when we see the 5-man group of Gordon, MPJ, Jokic, Barton, and Murray, that group just really does check every box, like offensively and most boxes defensively. And so that's my take is Barton. I just think the last 2 years have been such an up and down one because of health reasons. He gets 6 months off now. He gets a ton of time off, really more than 6 months, because he came back for 3 games. I mean, that doesn't really count. He had all that time off, and I just think we're going to get a super hyper healthy and hungry Will Barton next year.
I'm ready to run through a wall, fella. I did not know we were doing a hype cast today, but I'm ready to go.
Dude, I want to live a hyper healthy life now, too.
I agree with your take on Barton. Hold on. I agree with your take on Barton, Adam, but I really hope the Nuggets take the long view of this season, because these last 2 years, man, Will Barton, I really think a big reason why he's gotten hurt is because he doesn't miss games, and he plays a ton. He plays throughout the first 3-4 months of the year, every game, 30+ minutes a game when guys are taking nights off, when guys are banged up. He powers through that. So I hope Denver takes the long view with him and says, all right, he's healthy now. We got to, not like manage his minutes per se, but give him a couple nights off every now and then when he needs one. I just hope Denver does that.
I got another one for you guys. Most players make their biggest leaps. Not everyone, but most players make their biggest leaps between seasons 2 and 3. And this is for Michael Porter going into season 3. And, he had a bad play. I feel like his playoffs being underwhelming is the only reason we are not like fully hyping up Michael Porter, just because of that. But guess what? The regular season, he's great. And I don't know what the playoffs, let's just throw that out. I don't know what that's going to be, but I feel pretty confident that come like November, December, Michael Porter is going to be putting up ridiculous games that are just so fun to watch. I would not be surprised. In fact, I kind of bet on this year to be a big regular season leap year for him. I don't know about the playoffs because he really does have to just buy in on defensively and some of his weaknesses. But I think regular season Michael Porter is going to be special this year, like really special.
I couldn't agree more. And the thing about the playoffs is that's why people always talk about the value of playoff experience. Like, players get better. There's something about what the playoffs bring that the regular season doesn't have is that psychological warfare that you're put under, and also teams starting to scheme for you more intensely, and you having to do different things and not being able to rely on the same tricks over and over. And so it like rattles people. Like, that's like a really common thing. People come in, they don't do well the first playoffs, second playoffs, and then they just kind of figure it out. They are more comfortable in their own skin and they're not as rattled. So I'm very bullish on our beloved MPJ. That's my forget that immaculate season. That's ridiculous. I think MPJ is going to be good.
Here's another one for you guys. Aaron Gordon. We just never talk about him. Like Aaron Gordon's like the Paul Millsap of this team, where we're just always kind of like, and then there's him, and he'll do his thing. But I don't know, like seeing Aaron Gordon in some of these open runs and stuff, and I'm just like, hey man, I'm more optimistic now that Aaron Gordon has a much louder impact on the Nuggets team this year. I think he had a great impact on him when they were fully healthy last year, but I think this year it'll be louder where you're like, oh my God, look at him doing things.
One thing I have talked myself into is that he was laboring more than talked about last year. I do think he's going to look a lot more spry, healthy. And I'm excited for that.
Another one for me, PJ Dozier. I think he was a really good player and in line. He was in line for a great playoff run when Barton went down and Murray went down. Like I really think he was going to have a breakout one. It didn't happen, and that's another one that I just feel like, hey, PJ Dozier might win you some games this year. I saw somebody left a comment. I don't remember where it was, but somebody said you got to start thinking about him as just a straight up small forward. He's 6'7", and he's like a small 6'7". Look, we're in locker rooms. We're around small forwards. PJ Dozier's still undersized. I mean, he's like Will Barton size, so he's not quite a small forward. But you know what? He is going to be straight up small forward. I think he's going to play a ton of minutes there this year, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was a real asset. A real wins games for you this year, and people are really talking about PJ Dozier halfway through this season. So I'm feeling optimistic, guys. I don't know. It's Casual Friday. I don't know what it is, but I just there's some optimism. Maybe it's the fact that it's not. It's getting darker every day. It's getting a little bit colder.
Don't try and make this a celestial connection. You know what it is? It's that. Hope springs eternal. And we've closed the door on seasons past and we're opening the new. We're now officially in, what are we in off? What do we call this? Is this off
non-season?
This is not preseason.
It's no season.
It's not even off season though. Yeah. It's the dead season.
We're in Hope Springs Eternal season. Let's freaking go.
I see this in the chat here, and it was one thing none of us have said, but the Facu did get his feet wet last year. He was a bench guy. He played more than he expected, but I'm not necessarily counting on it. But boy, what a fun thing it would be for Facu to truly break out and be comfortable this year, where it's like, oh yeah, this guy just kicks ass, and it's on the table. It's definitely on the table. So second year Facu, hype for that as well.
I'm ready for him to go full Dragon Ball Z on our asses.
Dude, he's gonna go full Dragon Ball Z, of course.
And you know what I mean by that? I mean The Simpsons.
Oh, anime. You mean anime?
I'm gonna go where very few have gone before, and I'm gonna take this hype train rolling right through Jeff Green Station.
Oh, let's go!
I don't know if anyone's ever gotten hyped for Jeff Green, but I'm doing it.
I think, man, Jeff Green is. There's people that love. There's Jeff Green Hive. Jeff Green Hive exists.
Yeah. I think it's going to help. I think he might be the best looking player off the bench to get him at the price point they did. I just think it's awesome. You know
what killed my enthusiasm for Jeff Green? Jeff Green's interview.
Jeff Green, yeah.
Jeff Green's energy in that interview was like, on a scale of 1 to 10, it was negative infinity. He was not excited.
I think Jeff Green, he's been in the league 13 years. He just hit play on one of the interviews he's done after he signed a previous contract. He just hit play, and he had the same answer.
I got to say, when people were like, what's it like to play, or how excited are you to play with a player great like Jokic? He's like, well, I played with Kevin Durant and James Harden and Kyrie last year. I played with every great player to come through the NBA in the last 10 years. But yes, I am also excited to play with him.
Yeah. No, I'm not hating on Jeff Green. Kale's going crazy over here. I'm not hating on Jeff Green. It's just he's done a lot of these post free agent signing press conferences. He's done a lot of them.
They are all the exact
same questions in every single one.
You also have to appreciate when things and or people are exactly the way you expected them to be.
Yeah.
This counts.
It's going to fit right into the Nuggets locker room, baby. I'll tell you that.
All right, one last mini break here, and then on the other side, we are going to start power ranking some things quickly before inviting someone to attempt the steps. First, Harrison, what are we getting into before the weekend?
We're getting into DraftKings, of course. The NFL is back. DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL. They're giving all new players a can't-miss offer for Week 1. Bet just $1 on any NFL game during the first week of the season and receive $200 in free bets instantly, no matter what. Your team can win, your team can lose. you're going to get $200 in free bets. So take advantage of this offer right now. It's only for a limited time. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code DNVR to receive $200 in free bets when you place a $1 bet on any Week 1 game. Promo code DNVR to get your free $200 in free bets instantly for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Of course, you must be 21 or older, Colorado only, new customers only, restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you have a gambling problem, be sure to call 1-800-522-4700. Tons and tons of great deals on DraftKings, 24/7, 365. At Hassel Cattle Company, you can always get 10% off when you use the code DNVR10. Also, any orders over $200, you will receive free shipping. Check them out, HassleCattleCompany.com. You can also still enter to win a $200 gift card and cooler to one. That's going out to one lucky winner. To enter, just head to the DNVR Sports Twitter page. Click on the link to our pinned tweet. You'll be entered into a drawing to win a $200 gift card and cooler. One of those is going out to a very lucky winner. Of course, remember the code DNVR10 for 10% off your order at HassleCattleCompany.com. Also at StravaCraftCoffee.com, you guys can get 20% off with the code DNVR20. Get some CBD-infused coffee that can help relieve back pain, neck pain, arthritis, IBS, just some long-term aches and pains that you might be having. Use the code DNVR20 to get 20% off. If you're a first-time customer, use the code DNVR25 for 25% off. Finally got to throw in a DraftKings pick of the week here, guys, and this is gonna put a bow on our Nuggets optimism because I like this bet for Michael Malone to win Coach of the Year. He's at plus 1,400, I believe. I'm pulling it up right now.
Right? Why I like this
plus
bet,
1,400.
Why I like this bet is because if the Nuggets are good, you have to think about who gets the credit for it. It's Michael Porter for taking a leap. Jokic already won MVP, so they have to be like a 1 seed for him to win the MVP again. So if they're like a 2, 3, or 4 seed, and people are like, "Wow, I'm surprised. Who gets the credit?" It's definitely Michael Malone. Definitely Michael Malone.
Yeah, well, thanks for stealing my thunder. But yes, if the Nuggets get a top 4 seed, Nikola Jokic is going to be great. Look, we gave Jokic the credit last year. We don't need to give him the credit again. And PJ, yeah, we'll give him most improved player. But yeah, Michael Malone's going to get a lion's share of the credit if this team goes top 4 without Jamal Murray for a lot of the year.
All right. Well, so I didn't know if you were going to arrive at that brilliant point I had.
Just wanted to make sure that went exactly where I hoped it would go.
Exactly. Perfect. Great job, Adam and Harrison.
I like asking a question and then answering yourself immediately while waiting for somebody else to answer.
All right, so final segment here. We're going to play the steps here in just a second, but first we have to power rank some things. And the first thing we're going to power rank, Stephen A. Rachel Nichols out. She's out at ESPN. I know it always gets weird when we do the media talking about media thing. It's funny to me how many people really loved The Jump and love this because so much of that show and that style of commentary was all the shit I absolutely hate about the NBA. Like, just can't stand about it. So for me, this is nothing personal about anybody involved. But for me personally, I don't mind seeing a new look of NBA coverage at ESPN. I don't mind it. I'm like, okay. And they're going to revamp their pregame show and halftime shows. Stephen A. taking the lead, and he says he's going to create a super team with Magic Johnson and Stephen A. Now, I know I'm not the target audience for this, but to me, number one, my first thought when I heard that was they will literally never talk about the Nuggets. It could be a Nuggets versus Nuggets scrimmage that they are covering, and they would not talk about the Nuggets not one time.
They would. They'd be like, hey, you guys remember when they had Melo? Boy, those are great times.
I remember when they booed him last year.
Yeah, they did Melo so dirty, man. He never wanted to leave, and now the fan base boos him, and they would just play all the hits. It would be like, oh, my God. But also just like, okay, I'm not too interested in that studio group, but that's just me. Vote. Give me, if you were to power rank your top 3 studio shows analysts that you would put on ESPN, who would they be?
Tim Legler would be on there.
Okay.
Zach Lowe.
Okay.
But I need someone fun.
There's such an obvious answer for me for this one.
Kendrick Perkins. I know that's what you're thinking.
No, it's definitely not Kendrick.
I can't. Maybe I don't know. I don't know.
Dude,
Maybe
D-line,
Richard
what do you
Jefferson?
got?
I would just make Jalen and Jacoby just put the
Hell yeah! This is where-
it's just their show. Like just
Jalen.
make them the
Jalen,
guys.
yeah.
Like that's it.
Jalen Rose is like my first pick, man. And he did it before, by the way, too. But it was with he had Bill Simmons, then he had Michelle Beadle. I think it was always a little bit weird. But I'm with you. Jacoby is so fun. Jalen is A plus. Like to me, that's 2 of the 3. We're already there, or we're almost there. Harrison, what do you got?
I like Zach Lowe on there. I see a lot of people on Twitter who are just like, oh, we need 2 just like X's and O's analysts on there. I'm like, that's not what you need on a pregame show, man. You need to keep it loose. And honestly, man, I would have somebody on there who just says crazy shit because like you just kind of need that. I know everybody hates Kendrick Perkins. Like I hate him too, but you need not Kendrick Perkins, but somebody like Kendrick Perkins.
We said
like Rasheed Wallace. I see Rasheed Wallace in the comments. He'd be good.
Oh,
you
hell
need
yeah.
somebody to take on that role. Somebody needs to have that role.
Well, first of all, man, the thing is that Rasheed Wallace is with Penny Hardaway now in Memphis, and that's too perfect of a pairing. Like I can't take them when you've created one thing perfect, you can't break it up to create another perfect thing. So I definitely have Jalen Rose. Zach Lowe would obviously be great, but I don't know. I don't know if he's a great studio analyst, like
probably not.
So I don't know if I'd take him. I do like Jacoby. That last spot is really tough. I do feel like you could get another former player or somebody in that role.
How about this? I don't think anyone's done it before. Allen Iverson. Let me get Allen Iverson in there.
Allen Iverson. Do you remember when TNT had Area 41 with KG? Yeah. I think we could just do that, like where we just cut to Iverson every now and then for 5 minutes. I don't know if I'd need like 60 minutes of Allen Iverson, but if we had like 10-minute segments, I'd be down.
You need an AI cam, which is at the very least capturing him rolling into studio 5 minutes after the show started, and just it just follows him all the way through the door.
Yeah, totally. All right. Well, I like Kenyon Martin in there too. I don't know if he'd be a great analyst, but whatever. We can do him. Just
Draymond's the white whale.
Draymond.
He's the white whale that he's going to be the Tony Romo of NBA broadcasting, where when he retires,
going to be the
people will be lighting up.
He is new,
but no, he's not, because he's Charles Barkley, but he can also talk X's and O's, man. That's why he's like Tony Romo.
He's great. He is great. I also see people saying Doris Burke. She's on the call. She can't be in the studio show because she's calling the game. But
I also don't know that she'd be great. Like in people have different. That's why I'm talking about Zach Lowe. I think he's the GOAT, but he's the GOAT at a different thing rather than maybe right there. So I don't know. All right, moving on, guys. Power ranking. I'm always curious. This is an off season. This is more of an off season. What are we talking ourselves into? Top 5 favorite Nuggets heading into 2022. Eric, I'll let you go first here. This is a tough one. What's your order of?
Let's see.
Favorite Nugget.
So my favorite Nugget. Let's see. Who would that be? Who would I think I probably might go with my favorite human being. That would be Nikola Jokic, number 1.
Okay.
Number 2, my second favorite Nugget. Am I able to say Jamal if he's not playing right off the bat?
Why not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
You know what?
He's still on the team,
Jamal Murray. He is still on the team. It goes Jokic, Jamal Murray. Then it goes. I think then it goes MPJ.
Wow, controversial top 3 here. This is
I'm banding in my own mind. I'm trying to think how high I value Mr. Nugget status when I'm ranking my favorite Nuggets versus high efficiency scoring.
We're gonna have the same list, all 4 of us.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, then I go big game Tay. I love that son of a bitch.
Mr. Nugget.
Oh man, and this is where it gets a little bit difficult because I love all Nuggets equally, but I love
this was a hard exercise.
More. I love Facu very much. I love, oh boy, man, my children. You're asking me to rank my children, which I had no problem doing before, but the 5th one is pretty difficult. I think I'm going to go Will Barton. Let's go.
All right, there you go. Thrill. Harrison, let me get your list.
My list: Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Will Barton, Monte Morris, Bones Highland. My 5 favorite Nuggets.
Hold on. MPJ, the most fun Nugget, but also not a top 5 favorite Nugget. Harrison is
He said
such
what
a
he said.
mystery, wrapped in
He
an
said what he
enigma.
Dude, everybody has their own criteria on what goes into being their favorite Nugget. I'm just saying, he's not.
Harrison,
he's-
I'm honestly complimenting. You think I'm criticizing you? I'm complimenting you. I don't understand it. It's so beautifully weird. Vote. What do you have?
Thomas Welsh, Jameer Nelson, Emmanuel Mudiay.
Ooh, Moody, a tough ad.
I'm just kidding. Jokic 1, Jamal 2, Will Barton 3, Monte Morris 4, Facundo Campazzo 5.
Oh, the tiny king.
The tiny
what it
king
is.
snuck in.
I like to see myself.
I love that we have the chat pop in
Representation
here
is
too with
important.
these answers. I'm gonna go with Jokic number 1, Murray 2, Michael Porter 3. I'm a little basic over here. Mr. Nugget 4. And guys, this last one was controversial because I like you. I like all of them. But I think Bones has moved to the top 5. I was sitting and I honestly thought hard about this, but I was like, Bones brought me so much joy in the last month. Like more than most players have in any 1 month period, especially given that there's only been like 3 games. But every time I see him or watch him play, watch him talk, watch him tweet, anything, I just smile. I'm like, oh man. So Bones, it's a shocker.
So right, but I feel like you can't award him this status until he plays 1 minute of NBA basketball.
That's a very fair critique, but it's still overruled. Sorry, I can't tell you how my heart feels. I can't change that. It tells me how it feels, and I translate
facts
it.
right there. Can you imagine if they took Jaden Springer?
Oh,
that very same defense, by the way, has been used to justify abhorrent, terrible acts by human beings. Just FYI.
Jesus, wow, we really brought that down.
Dictatorship corner.
Dictatorship corner. But seriously, you brought up the Jaden Springer. It is so funny, man, because like Bones was just a 10 out of 10 on like pure joy. And it is like Springer, in addition to looking pretty bad, he had a couple good games at the end there of Summer League. But early on, he looked so bad. But he's also just not fun. You know, that's the thing we forgot about with Jaden Springer. Was he the practical choice? Maybe. Time will tell. Maybe not. But there's no way we'd be all hyped about this or that with him.
That's the thing about us. The way we were looking at the draft is like we weren't like, oh, let's get the most fun guy. we were like, the Nuggets kind of need like a role player. They need somebody like in the Gary Harris mold. We weren't like, man, let's fucking kick this thing up to 11. But I guess we should have been thinking that way.
This is Eric's theory. It's like where if you're like, what are we going to eat today? It's like we really should do the salmon salad with the light vinaigrette or this or that. And your buddy walks up and is like, I got a pizza. And you're like, all right, you eat the pizza and you're like, you know what? Don't regret that one bit. That was awesome. That was a great
idea. It's like diet starts Monday. We'll get a defensive-minded shooting guard sometime later down the road.
There's always the trade deadline, you know?
My thing is always like life is such an unending horror, and every day is worse than the last. And so if you find yourself in a situation that is pleasurable, you should multiply that. Like if you go to a Nuggets game and you're having a good time, you should buy some caramel corn and get drunk and make the whole thing amazing. So like when you're drafting and you're like, oh man, we lost Jamal Murray, everything's in the dumps. It's like, dude, let's get the most kick-ass dude possible. Let's just rock.
That guy whips ass. Let's take him.
You know it would be sick. That is totally Tim Conley.
That's exactly.
It would be so sick. Oh, high five. Michael Malone's like, what the hell? All right, guys, we got to get to the steps. We have a new victim here, and I see him in the waiting room. Kelly, you can go ahead and bring him on. It is Zach Gottlieb is in the house. Zach Gottlieb, let's get the crowd here going. You guys hear that clapping? I kind of All right, it is time to attempt the steps. Zach, look at that. We don't. Speaking of the steps, he wore the we don't. Is this the first time that we don't skip steps has appeared on the steps?
Holy smokes! Dude.
This has to be good karma.
Should we ironically allow him to skip some steps for wearing the shirt?
Well, Zach, is your mic on? I don't think we can hear you.
I think he might be muted. We're not hearing much yet.
Oh boy, he skipped the ultimate step.
The ultimate step, setting up your microphone. Are we working here? What do we got going on?
Don't worry, Zach.
D-line's on fire today.
And we'll do it live.
Any luck? If you could click on the little gear and it tells you what your setting is, it could be a microphone, it could be
you
a
can
computer.
echo cancellation on or off.
Oh my God! There you are. Wait, I heard something.
Oh,
Nope, still don't hear
Can
him.
you speak
Oh
into
no,
your
Zach.
headphones?
Oh my goodness! Look, we're gonna start it early. Here we have. Can he figure it out in time?
Oh,
We
boy.
have the music
Question number
going.
one.
Question number one, can
he
Zach
has
figure out
5
his
minutes
mic?
exactly.
Wow, look at
Oh,
this.
this is tough, Zach.
This is a tough scene. Nobody's ever fallen down the steps on the first step.
Check your audio settings. It might be your headphones instead of your computer or whatever the case is.
Computer settings.
So,
Oh
all right.
man.
So here's what we're gonna do.
Let's make it even tougher by making him the full screen now. There it
come
is.
on. Don't do this. Don't do this to
Put
Zach.
him in the pressure cooker. As we
I'm going to be Zach's vocal proxy, and you'll ask me the questions, and then I'll say answers, and Zach will either agree or disagree.
disagree. I love this. Chris Morley, I haven't seen him for a while. He says we've never had this. This is great. The chat now trying to encourage him. I'm going to give you.
You know what would be,
30
you know what would be
seconds.
sick, guys? Bull. You know what would be sick? Bull.
So sick, dude. Let's just get him, dude. That name rips. Yeah,
And I like
let's
Josh also just being like, "Hey, Josh, can I get $200,000? I have an idea.
Dude, it's gonna be so dope. You don't
It's gonna
understand.
be
It's gonna be
sick.
so dope.
It's just $200,000, bro."
what he
Zach,
said
what do we
before?
got, man? Look at that. They're chanting your name. Crowd, what should we do? Should we kick him off? Is he out of here before we ever got started?
I don't like this. We gotta have Zach
Wait,
again
can he
if it
type-
doesn't work.
No, here's what we're gonna do. He's gonna type his answers into the private chat,
But then
And
how will
Eric
we know?
will read.
and I will be his vocal proxy.
He's gonna try on his phone real quick. He's gonna try on his phone.
Hey,
Let's see if
we
can
got
get
4
the phone
minutes
wired
left,
up.
so you try it. And
Hey, there's what
Zach
you guys
is
want to
rookie
talk
of the
about.
year. What NBA player? What Nuggets player is that? Zach is Zeke Naji at Summer League at the moment.
oh come on, dude! Don't do that to either of those guys.
Zach is Trey
I mean-
Lyle.
I did have Zach on my power rankings of guys I was most excited to see on the steps, which is why the Zeke Naji comparison is apt.
All right.
He did it.
I got the
All
phone.
right,
out
we
in
get to
time.
start entering this. All right, we got to go quick then, Zach. Are you
All right.
ready to attempt the steps?
I'm a little nervous, but let's do this.
Harrison, you're in charge here. You got the questions. Let's start.
All right, question number 1, Zach. Question number 1. Where is the Nuggets' new G League team located?
Grand Rapids.
Easy.
Hey,
correct.
correct.
Starting off with some easy ones. What number does Michael Porter Jr. wear?
One.
Question number 2.
I got one.
Man, he is going
That
up
is
the
correct.
steps quick.
I did a little
Zach-
bit of studying.
Zach was slow out of the gates, but now he's kicking some fucking ass. Let's go.
Question number 3. What college did Bones Highland go to?
VCU.
He did go to VCU.
Great
This
work.
this is crazy.
Question number 4. Vlatko Čančar is from what country?
Slovenia. I was really pulling for them in the Olympics too.
Oh,
We all
We
were.
are-
We all were.
He also
He's-
won-
Oh, this is
He went to
this is
Charlotte.
for the sticker pack.
This
Holy
is for
smokes.
the sticker pack. What DNVR sponsor can you get CBD infused coffee delivered to your door from?
Bravo Craft Coffee, of course.
Absolutely.
dude, nothing makes me happier than our deeply pandery sponsor questions. They're the greatest.
You always got to throw one of them in. Yeah.
All right, Zach. This is you can take a sticker pack and bounce, man, if you want. Eric would be very impressed.
Dude, look at this confidence.
I'm
Come
here
on.
to climb the steps, man. I
Oh,
don't know.
All
Let's do it,
All right.
Let's do it.
Question number 6. What assistant coach did the Nuggets hire this summer?
Ooh, I just looked this one up. Popeye Jones.
Yep. Nice.
The research pays off.
He
Popeye
looks
Jones.
like Joel from Harry Potter. It's really funny.
Okay, question number 7. What player on last year's Nuggets roster won a gold medal?
Oh my gosh.
Dude,
Last
somebody
year's
else
roster?
failed on this one, I think. This is the second time we
I don't
got
think there was anyone on the Nuggets on the Olympic roster this year. On the U.S. roster
There
It was,
was.
it was,
There
it was
was.
the Nuggets roster from last year.
from
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
which is confusing if you consider the
Oh,
space-time
JaVale McGee.
continuum.
Oh my
I got it.
goodness, he
I got it.
almost
He got
died.
it. He
He
lost
almost
JaVale
died. This is like the crate challenge where it starts wobbling
Dude,
and
I
everyone's
almost,
freaking
I
out.
almost choked on JaVale
I would have
McGee.
got that wrong. I thought the answer was Jeremy Grant. I thought you were talking about the previous season.
Last year. I mean, we're into whatever.
We're in the
Last
new
year
Um,
means a lot of different things now that the space-time continuum has been bent and broken. It was 1 year ago today that there was Game 6.
It's true.
Right.
Oh, damn, we didn't talk about that. Damn it.
What team was Austin Rivers on right before he signed with the Nuggets?
Well, he got bought
This
out
is
by
a
the
tricky one.
Thunder. Got bought out by the Thunder, but he was with the Knicks.
He got it right either way, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like this is a technicality win.
Well, he was on the Thunder right before he was on the Nuggets. That was
got it
his
right.
most
Right.
recent team.
I don't know
Yeah,
if
right.
he played there though.
He got it right. Yeah, that's
he
a
did
great.
not, but he was employed by the Thunder.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Question
like,
number
don't count
9.
that ever again.
Question number 9. What state is Monte Morris from?
Michigan. He's from
There
Flint.
you go.
He is
Dude.
from Flint, Michigan.
Dude, we got a T-shirt coming up. T-shirt on the line.
All right. Question number 10. Name the order that the 5 Northwest Division teams finished in last regular season.
Holy
So this season that
Wow.
just
Great
finished,
question.
if there's any
Great
confusion
question.
there.
Okay, so the Jazz were 1, and then I want to say it was Denver 2, Portland 3, and I'm just trying to remember who the rest of them in the division are.
That is a tough part of this question. Yeah.
I got those 3. I want to say the Thunder were in it, but they were last. And then
Wow.
So close. You know it too. I know you know it.
I do.
Oh, I want him to get this so bad.
Give him what? 10 seconds.
Is it the Clippers?
Minnesota!
It's the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Oh, dude, that was straight
So
game
close.
82. That was he
Oh.
lost to Minnesota in game
He's
82. Shirt
He's
on the
sick to
line.
his stomach. Oh,
He was about to go to the fucking playoffs. God damn it! I'm sick too.
oh,
I
Zach,
thought he was getting that, man.
bro. I feel so bad right now.
Dude, I just
He was great too. This is like, it really is. The steps are the crate challenge of trivia because you see the guys do that. They're so confident. They start showing off. Then they take that top one and just like break their necks. And that's unfortunately metaphorically what happened to Zach. I choked. He did choke. Look at him here. I choked. You know, here's what I love about the steps. It happens to every single person. In their mind, it's like, dude, I always get these right when I'm watching. And then once you get on there, you're like, who's in the division again? Think about how tough a questions he answered that he forgot that the Timberwolves were in the Northwest Division.
It's the worst.
Because
And I-
divisions don't matter.
Yeah,
They
that
don't.
too.
Minnesota, I like, he does have a point here. Minnesota doesn't exist. This
Oh,
is-
that's a great point. Bring him back on. He wins on a technicality. Let's go.
Guys, this was a fun week. We always have fun hanging out with you guys. Even in the deep off season, we managed to do something silly or fun or interesting or hopefully a combination of all three. And I personally, having missed a week, out of town, I missed this, guys. I missed it.
Yeah, we didn't necessarily miss.
All right. Well, everybody else out there, so great. Hit the like button on the way out. Check out the George Carl Show, and we'll see everybody on Monday. Be safe.